Nobody ever told you that being gifted could feel like a curse, and that's exactly why you never knew you were one. You've spent your whole life feeling like something was quietly wrong with you. Not broken, not sick, just different. Like everyone around you was watching the same movie and you were somehow watching a different one, deeper, darker, louder, more overwhelming. And you kept wondering why nobody else seemed to feel what you felt. That quiet wondering, that's where your story begins. The first sign is something you've felt since childhood. You feel things at a depth that scares even you. Not just sadness or happiness. You feel the weight behind someone's smile. You feel the silence between words. You feel the shift in a room before anyone speaks. Psychologists call this emotional overexcitability. It means your nervous system picks up signals that most people's minds simply filter out. You were never too sensitive. You were always too aware, and awareness at that level comes with a price. The second sign is that you've never been able to turn your mind off. Ever. At 3 in the morning, when the world is silent, your brain is still running, making connections, replaying conversations, questioning decisions you made. 5 years ago, people call it overthinking. But it's not overthinking. It's a mind that was built to go deeper than the surface of everything, and it doesn't know how to stop because it was never designed to. The third sign is that you got bored in ways nobody understood. School bored you, not because you were lazy, because you were lazy, because you were already understood. You finished the thought before the teacher finished the sentence. You sat in classrooms feeling like your mind was a race car trapped in a parking lot, and instead of recognizing that, people labeled you distracted, unfocused, a problem to manage. But the real problem was that nobody around you could keep up. The fourth sign is that you question everything. Always have. Why do we do things this way? Who decided this was normal? Why does everyone accept something that clearly doesn't make sense? You questioned authority not out of rebellion but out of genuine confusion. Because to your mind, a flawed system is an unsolved problem, and your mind cannot let unsolved problems rest. The fifth sign is that you feel deeply permanently lonely, even in a room full of people. Not because you don't like people, because most conversations feel like they're happening on the surface of things, and you live deep underwater. You don't want to talk about the weather. You want to talk about what keeps people up at night, what they're afraid of, what they secretly believe, and most people aren't ready for that kind of conversation. So you learn to perform small talk, to nod, to smile, while a part of you quietly starved. The sixth sign is that you're intensely sensitive to injustice. When something is unfair, it doesn't just bother you. It physically disturbs you. You can't let it go. You carry the suffering of people you've never met. You lose sleep over things happening on the other side of the world. Others tell you that you care too much, but you were wired to care. That's not a weakness. That's moral intelligence most people never develop. The seventh sign is that you have an unusual relationship with creativity. Ideas come to you the way other people breathe, constantly, effortlessly, sometimes overwhelmingly. You start things with enormous fire, a project, a passion, a plan, and then suddenly the fire goes out. Not because you're a quitter, because your mind is already 10 steps ahead, and the excitement of discovery has moved somewhere new. Gifted minds aren't lazy, they're hungry, and hunger always chases the next thing. The eighth sign is that you've always felt older than you were. As a child, you sat with adults and felt more comfortable than with kids your age. You understood conversations you weren't supposed to understand. You noticed things grown-ups thought you'd miss. There's a term for this: asynchronous development. Your mind aged faster than the world around you, and that gap between where your mind was and where everyone expected you to be created a kind of permanent displacement. The ninth sign is that you have an obsessive need for depth and meaning. You can't do things halfway. When something interests you, you disappear into it completely. Hours become nothing. When something doesn't interest you, you cannot make yourself care no matter how hard you try. People see this as inconsistency, but it's not. It's a mind that only operates at full power. There is no half speed, no idle mode. The 10th sign is that you've always struggled to find your people, not because you're difficult, because the version of you that you show the world is already a simplified translation. The full version, the one with all the questions and all the feelings and all the depth, you've kept that locked away, because the few times you showed it, people either got uncomfortable or quietly walked away. So you learned to edit yourself, to be digestible, and you've been lonely in that editing ever since. The 11th sign is that you absorb the emotions of everyone around you like a sponge. You walk into a room and immediately feel who's upset, who's hiding something, who's pretending to be fine. You didn't choose this. You can't turn it off. And by the end of most days, you're carrying an emotional weight that isn't even yours, and you're completely exhausted without knowing exactly why. The 12th sign, and this is the one that matters most, is that you have never fully believed any of this about yourself. You've read things like this before and thought, this isn't really me. I'm not that special. I'm probably just broken in a different way. That self-doubt, that quiet, persistent refusal to accept your own depth, that is the most defining characteristic of a gifted mind. Here is the hard truth nobody prepares you for. The world is not designed for the way your mind works. It rewards consistency over depth, complies over curiosity, simplicity over complexity, and so gifted people spend their entire lives shrinking, apologizing for their intensity, performing normalcy, paying a price in exhaustion and loneliness that nobody around them can even see. You have been carrying something rare your entire life and calling it a burden. You have been punished for the very things that make you extraordinary. And the most painful part, the part that stays with you long after the screen goes dark, is that you still don't fully believe it. Maybe that's the real sign, not the depth, not the questions, not the loneliness. The fact that even after everything, even after recognizing yourself in every single word, you'll still close this video and wonder if it was really about you. It was. It always was. It always was.